Hello, fans. Welcome back to episode 3 of Big Bad Bodybuilding, featuring, of course, my co-host, Dennis the Big Bad Wolf from Las Vegas. Dennis, how are we doing?
Hi, Zach. Very, very good. Thank you for joining us, Stuart Sutherland, BeefStu.
Howdy.
That's right, man. We got Stuart. Thanks for hanging out with us, filming a second straight episode with us. We're anxious to hear your thoughts on today's topics. Before we get started, I do want to thank, again, Gasp and Better Bodies, our sponsor. And we are now featuring Dennis's new legacy shirt, Big Bad Wolf, the Big Bad Wolf tee. It comes in the blue and purple colorway here, as well as an orange option. So click on the link below. Use discount code Big Bad Bodybuilding to save 15% on your limited edition shirt. All right, let's get into it. Today we are going to start off talking with a little business and bodybuilding. Dennis, we're going to kick it off with you. Tell us, how long after you turned pro were you able to bodybuild full time? And actually, I'm kind of interested to know what you did before that. Did you have a career, or were you working before you were actually a full-time bodybuilder? I want to know if you were flipping burgers over in Germany or something.
Yeah, burgers in Germany?
Yeah.
Okay, Frankfurters? I don't know. Yeah, that was probably a bad question.
Very famous right now. I mean, hey, you can find burger, what is it? I go shops, whatever, burger restaurants in every city. So, you know, it's not like pommes currywurst. This is the German fast food. Most famous German fast food is sausage. Curry
What's it called?
Sausage with French fries. Pommes currywurst. So,
all right.
There are a lot.
Actually, you better find out what it is first.
Some friends of mine own also burger restaurants. So yes, it's famous.
Nice.
No, I wasn't flipping burgers, but I was a painter. You know, and I would do the glass work, right? Windows and all stuff. So basically, before I turned pro, I would have my normal job, right, as a painter, working 9 hours a day, and then we'll go to the gym. But after I turned pro, or right before, I won the World Championships in China. So as I came back home, that was like 2 days after I won the title, I had an email from Nutrix, and they offered me right away a sponsor contract. So, and basically from that moment on, I was doing full-time bodybuilding. And as you know, as a professional bodybuilder, that was my dream, and it came true. And so after that, like every couple of years, reached another level, and the contracts got bigger and bigger. So yeah.
Was Nutrix around over there? Like, were they predominant in Germany, or were they mainly just a U.S. based company? And are they still around?
They're still around.
They still have them? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like right next to Bev's. I think their headquarters.
Oh, really? Okay.
NUTREX, right?
Yeah, yeah. I remember like the silver and blue, right? Silver and blue label. I remember Dennis in the ads. Yeah.
Nutrix had partner in Germany, so both guys are German. You know, the owners. So, and the other company in Germany was called BMS. So, and I kind of had a like double contract. One contract with BMS, in German, like I was paid in euro, and then a contract with Nutrix, I was paid in dollars. So it was pretty cool time, yeah. So, and I was so surprised. You know, my wife's opened, you know, like the email. Like, hey, look at that! It's what? We couldn't believe it. So it was right away an offer, but it said like, Dennis, we've been watching you for years, and we were just waiting until you turn pro, man. And they were
That's awesome.
The fastest. They were the first one to offer me that. And before that, I never got paid from a supplement company, you know, even as a German champion. So people today, you know, like how many emails I get or questions like, can you help me with sponsorship, like to get a supplement company to sponsor me? I mean, hey, I had no money from any company until I turned pro. So yeah, different times.
What all would you have to do for that, Dennis, did you have to like, I mean, were you just showing up and making appearances, or was it like, would they come and, do photo shoots with you for the ads? And what all did that entail as far as your responsibilities for the contract?
I mean, basically, you had like 2 or 3 shows in the contract, but what I had in the contract is every year Olympic qualification. So that was that was the thing. So I had to qualify for the Olympia every day, and of course, all the photo shoots, prior the contest or post contest, it was, I mean, normal. We'll shoot after every show.
Go ahead, Stuart.
I think
I didn't mean to cut you
Stuart
off,
had a question. Yes,
I was
please.
just wondering.
Sorry.
When, what year did you turn pro and that started for you?
I won the World Championships in China in 2005. It was November, end of November.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So in 2006, in August. So basically, like 6-7 months later, I was competing. Doing making my pro debut in Texas, in Dallas.
Okay. That's funny. You were a painter, man. I have a good friend who lives down in Oregon, just south of me, and he does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He mostly exteriors, house painting, and it's a hell of a hard job. It's like he's running up and down ladders all day, and he usually does it during the summertime because it's a seasonal. It's rainy up here, but he's trying to like shift out of that because it's so much physical work. That's Ryan Foster. He's actually doing New York as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can tell you about that. So when I got up to 260 or so, I was still amateur, right? But off season 260 was like big for me, So I couldn't work, or I couldn't do any work overhead. So.
Oh my God!
Shoulder issue. Hey, that was like 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh man,
that's not great for a painter, right?
So that was painful, man. Going to work doing that stuff, overhead was painful. Anything else was easy, right? But overhead, and sometimes you got like contracts with, you have to work, and it is all ceilings, right? So ceilings for 6 weeks. Oh my God! So things like that. Yeah. So I basically was almost dead, and then I had to train after the work. So but I made it somehow.
Yeah.
Dennis, other than that, like, did you supplemental wise, making income? I know guest postings was kind of a lot bigger back then. Maybe appearances there. Was that kind of another way you'd make income? And did you work with, did you coach back then? I mean, that was kind of back before it, I guess that was around the time coaching started getting big, but did you ever do any of that on the side while you were competing, or was it just kind of the supplement contracts and the guest postings?
So I would say I started having a lot of guest posing requests when I was like a year or 1.5 years, before I won the World Championship. So as an amateur, I had already a lot of guest appearances. I mean, not for the same money as a pro, but I still, kind of made money from that. So basically all the trips, to World Championships to China was paid by, by me for my wife, so that would cover only the athletes' costs, right? But for my wife, she was always with me, so I'm kind of paid with that, right? So I always been involved in that already. So like a lot of summer festivals, like small, bigger, in the gyms, and so they will invite me, and people love that. So later on, of course, that was. I would say it's you will make money on the side, right? So with guest appearances. So depending on your placing at the Olympia, you get the invitations and requests, right? So at my highest, I would make like probably every week for 6 weeks in a row after the Olympia guest appearances, and maybe 2 every weekend. So that was pretty amazing, and this is. today, not possible anymore. So you don't see so many guest stars somewhere, you know. So, but that was that was it back then. Yeah, nobody cares today. So I don't know what changed, but back then, man, that was, hey, you just wanted to see the big guys. And I remember I was flying to Qatar for guest posing at the World Championships. Nobody have done it before. So yeah, I've been around.
I think a lot of the reason why they don't do guest posing so much anymore is you can just see all your favorite athletes all the time on the internet. It's like, why are you going to pay? That used to be a really big attraction to go to like a local show. I know the show where I live now, the Emerald Cup, it's the big one up here. They always have guest posers. They still do. But back in the day,
guest posing at the Emerald Cup too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. I've seen you on the poster. Yeah, with you know Brad and Elaine Craig then.
Yes,
up there. Yeah. I just saw him last weekend. I've seen a poster with you on. I've seen one with Jay on it. I mean, the whole lot. Branch Warren. Yeah. But you know that's really not common nowadays anymore. They still do it, but I mean, you know, if you could just go on Instagram and everyone's just posting up pictures of themselves all the time, it's like, I mean, you used to only be able to see it in real life or in a magazine. So. I mean, it's just different.
Yeah, I agree. I do think, though, seeing people, I remember when I was a teenager kind of getting into it, and, you know, we didn't have half the shows they have now here in the Dallas area. I was from Lubbock, which is about 5 hours west of the DFW area, but I'd drive out just to see these guys come in and guest pose because I knew they were going to be guest posing at a show, and I'll never forget seeing, like, Paul Dillett out in person was just unreal for me. And, you know, we'd come to Rangers games and see Ronnie walking around in a tank top, and that's just different than seeing him. Of course, back then we didn't have all the social media, so it was definitely, you know, it was a big draw, man, when those guys came into town.
But, Zach, it's still, you know, in person is a totally different world, man. Even if you see them online, right, on Instagram.
That's why I'm saying I don't understand why it's not still that way, because it doesn't do them justice, man. You guys,
you don't understand it until you've experienced it in real life. So you just figure, oh, that's impressive, and then you're looking at a 24-inch arm in the flesh, and it's like, oh my God, that's bigger than my leg, you know.
I saw Marcus Rule guest posing at the show I won.
Oh my God,
you know, and I was 22. I never seen something like that. That was like freaky and like what the fuck, right? So like really, really crazy feeling just seeing this, and I was like, hey, this is how I need to look like when I want to be a pro, right? So gonna, you know, my brain was working like what is going on, right? So, but he looked unreal, like round, like he couldn't even stretch himself. That was my feeling, right? So he was so round and full, packed with muscle mass. It was incredible. And this is probably the thing, right? If you never experienced something like this, you will say, yeah, okay, it's nothing to see, right? So I've seen him every time I open my Instagram, right? Yeah.
I got a question for you, Dennis.
Go ahead.
So even when you were in like the prime of your career, you know, 2011, 2012, you're one of the big guys, you know, that people look at you and they're like, oh my God, like you used to look at Marcus, right? Did you still see pros like, I don't know, Phil Heath or something backstage and think like, oh my God, that guy's giant looking? Because like I've personally, like, I still look at like pro bodybuilders and keep like, you know, I was an amateur like a year and a half ago, right? So I'm still pretty new to this. And it's like, it still blows my mind seeing those guys in person. I don't think to myself, oh, I'm that size. I'm like, no, that's crazy looking. Do you still have that like disconnect, or is that just me?
I don't think it's the same feeling right now, but I'm, you know, I'm still, I still get surprised, you know, how they, like everything when it moves, like how that looks, right? So because maybe I'm a couple of years not competing, so I'm not seeing or not having that, you know, so I don't have rivals, right? So it's different. So, but backstage back then, even at the Olympia, you will see like Phil Heath, you see like, man, like all the fibers and stuff, you know, like, and it's like why I don't have it, right? So that would still impress me. because I mean it's like every physique is different, and then everyone has something which impresses you. Like that was my my experience all the time. But today it's not that easy to impress me, but I still get that feeling sometimes. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it still hasn't gotten old for me. Like, I don't really think of myself as like I'm pro bodybuilder size, even though I am. So like when I see that in real life, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's just crazy. But sorry,
mostly it's the other way around the same. You know, people will also like look at me like, what the hell is this, right? So
Yeah.
I was thinking the same about the guy, right? So yeah.
And now you're wondering like, what's the big deal? Why are you looking at me? It's I just look like this.
So
what's the deal?
You'll never look at you the same like the the other guys, the other athletes who understand bodybuilding and doing the same thing. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you, right? Yeah.
Man, Stu, that's really refreshing to hear. I mean, so IPB pro, up and coming pro that has had a lot of success already, for you to come on here and say, man, these guys, I look around and they're still really impress me and freak me out. And I mean, that's cool because I mean, as fans, that's how we all feel. But it's cool to know that you guys kind of take note of each other and not just like like you're a level above everybody else. So that's cool, man. And I think that keeps you hungry and stuff too, man.
Well, dude, you had like I said, I was an amateur not even a year and a half ago, right? So like this is all very new to me, and I don't think of myself as a professional, even though I have a card. I mean, I still am primarily a fan. I want to qualify for the Olympia, not because I want to do well there, but because I want to see the show from backstage. It's like
that's awesome, passes,
man. That's
I just love that you would come on and say that. That's great, man, because that's exactly the way I would feel, right?
Whipped. I'm going to get whipped at the Olympia if I
you'll make it up there, man.
Right? But like, I mean, how cool would that be? You get to see the best in the world getting ready for the biggest show.
And you're up there with them, man.
Right.
Well, dude, hey,
but it's going to change soon anyways. Couple years, you just start kind of, seeing that a little bit different because you're going to be more involved in this. You get more busy. You travel here, there. You're doing more shows, so, and that, it gets a little bit different, but you're still gonna feel like, okay, I'm just doing it a couple of years, but I think it's a good thing. I felt kind of the same, so I was not saying, okay, I'm here at the Olympia to win the Olympia, right? So step by step. So first time I didn't make the top 15. Much better than like the places from 10 to 5, right? So, but I didn't care. I knew that's gonna be the first time is normal, but second time my plan was to get into top 10. So, and what happened? I made the top 5. So, and that makes you like it brings you also in your mind on another level because you kind of for yourself. That was me, right? For yourself, you're making the plan, a small plan, but if something better happens, the better it is, right? So, and I think if I would make
sorry, go ahead. I was just going to ask, do you
after
get
a while,
an imposter syndrome?
After 2-3 years, you start planning different. Then you set your goals higher, right? So I want to be top 3, and I want to finally make it to the top, winning the Olympia. All right. So, excuse me, you had a question.
Yeah, sorry. Do you get like an imposter syndrome when you start placing better than you kind of expected? Like, oh, this must be a fluke. Like this can't be right. Like, does that go through your head?
Yeah. Like, just a small example. If you're at the Olympia, right, and you expect to be like in the top 5, right? So, and then you're not in the first call out. I mean, can you imagine what goes through your mind if you're if you're there like continually like the last six years, like making top 5 or not, but you're want to place higher every time you compete. So and then you're not in the first call out. That can destroy you right away. So and this is like, man, the first call outs are so important. I think even more importantly. Mental wise, because it's like if you're in the first call out, you're ready to rock, you're ready to fight, right? If you're not, shit. So it's like,
why am I here?
You're not fighting. Yeah, you're not fighting for the top 5 even, right? So, yeah.
Stuart, yeah, let's, I did want to touch on, I know you've recently kind of done the converted to the full-time bodybuilder lifestyle, not what, just doing that full time. So tell, after kind of what we heard Dennis say with obviously the contract was the big deal and some guest appearances, kind of talk about the difference, how you kind of support yourself. Is it more, obviously social media is the big, contributing factor of how everything's changed, but, and I know you I would imagine it helps you with your coaching business as well. But kind of break that down, maybe percentage wise, even like contracts versus, meal prep service versus appearances and your coaching, like really kind of what is the driving factor that allows you to be like a full-time bodybuilder now?
Well, to just backtrack a little bit, give a little context. So I got an engineering degree a couple of years ago, mechanical engineering, and I went into the construction industry, doing like project management stuff. That's what I did for a living for the last basically like 3 years or so. And it was a good living. It was a desk job. I wasn't painting anything. I didn't have my arms up here, so it was easy. I could get my meals in, and I was sitting on my ass all day, which is nice. So that allowed me to like progress, right, and it was stable. But I mean, I just kind of, after this year, because my first pro season went pretty good. Not as good as it could have been, but pretty good. And like, I'm looking at my life, like what I want to do with it. And then, on one hand, I have like this construction industry career, which is a safe bet. It's a reliable income, but I really don't like it. It's a job, not a career. And then I have bodybuilding, and it turns out that I'm actually pretty good at this, and I'm trying. Probably going to get better. So, and I love doing it. And I'm also like, on this side, on the construction world, I'm like, I'm totally replaceable. I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy in a role doing my job. So like, I'm looking at the two, and I'm like, I just need to like have the guts to go and take this leap here. And I kind of been building up my coaching over the last, the 6 months or so, leading into the shows. And, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I can actually support myself doing this. And, when I was looking at like the numbers, like how much money can I make doing this? I was hopeful that I could get a supplement contract, but I was not relying on it. I know that's, cause it can get pulled out from under you. If you get injured or something, like you're screwed, you can't make a living now. Like and I'm pretty financially conservative overall. This is a big risk for me. Mentally, to like get over that hump. But, as you want to talk percentages, it's like, I would not have made that career change unless I could support myself entirely off of coaching income, and any other stuff I could make,
Stuart, if you don't mind me asking, how many clients do you kind of take on at a time as far as your coaching? What do you feel comfortable handling? Because I mean, obviously I know some people are off season, some people got shows coming up. Like, what do you think's a good number? Because I mean, I hear like these astronomical numbers, like hundreds of clients at a time. Yeah. I mean, realistically, how many can you support and handle and not lose your mind?
If you're doing what I'm doing, where you're really giving everybody attention and like working on their plans like you should be, I'd say like 40 to 50 would be a pretty comfortable range. Like you could push that up to like 70 or 80 if you were really focused on it and you weren't doing all the other pro bodybuilder crap.
Right.
Okay. But so that's kind of what I'm trying to grow it to. I'm not there yet, but I want to grow it to there. When you hear people coaching hundreds of people, there are some exceptions. Like I know my coach Blue, the guy is just a psycho. Like he doesn't sleep. He just is up all night. He's coaching people all over the world. He's getting on phone calls with them all the time. So he's an exception to the rule. He's not a normal person, but he's also very good at what he does, and he gives me the same attention as he gives some dude in Singapore that he's coaching. But typically when you have people like coaching 100 and 150 people, it's probably going to be cookie cutter crap.
That'd have to be. Yeah. I would think.
Like, I don't want to throw any names out there, but like, actually I was talking to a guy who
do it. Just throw him out there, man.
Very, very well-known coach. And he'd been with him for like 2 years, right? And this was his second show that he was doing with this coach. And so he was about to roll into he's like 2 weeks out, 1 week out or something. He's getting the plan for the last week here. And he literally sent him, copy and pasted the same email as he sent him last year for the show he did last year.
Way.
Verbatim, no changes.
Well, maybe he didn't change. Yeah. He didn't make any progress, so let's just use the same one.
Dude,
man,
you hear crap like that and you're like,
yeah.
This guy was paying $400 a month.
Oh man, yeah, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Which is pretty standard for a big name coach.
Okay,
which is wild. Now I don't charge that much because I don't think I've established myself well enough to deserve that yet. But like you're charging that much money and giving that pathetic level of service. I mean, dude, you could have a chat bot run your entire business.
Right.
Like get ChatGPT to run it.
Do you feel do you feel like being IFBB Pro, or when you turn IFBB Pro, that really solidifies you, to be, basically a guru? Or do you think that has any difference? Do people really look at that when, do you think that's a big factor in them choosing you as a coach?
Do I think it actually lends you credibility, like in my eyes?
That, and do you feel like you get more clients because you have IFBB in front of your name? Okay.
Definitely, yeah, it definitely works for that purpose. Do I think that anybody with a pro card is actually going to be a good coach? Absolutely not.
Right, right.
It's as much about, because Dennis will probably agree with me. There's no secrets to what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's
like, the guys that take it the furthest probably have the best genetics and the best work ethic, right? But like even the guys at the top amateur level or whatever, like they're doing the same drugs, they're pushing the same food, they're training really hard, like they're maximizing stuff. It's the little details and like the communication with your coach that are important there. And like, just because you have a pro card, it doesn't mean that you're able to work well with clients. It's like a customer service thing as much as anything. And it's not like a sales thing. It's like you're not trying to sell yourself. You're trying to communicate and help your customer. If you think of it like that. So like, sometimes you'll get, maybe Dennis gets this too, but like you'll get people signing up for like a couple of months, try to get some secret drug protocol out of you, and then poof, that you never hear from them again.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not real. It's not reality.
Protocols and all that, maybe another month, and then they're gone.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, and it's like that's not the value that you're getting there. The value you're getting is constant monitoring and adjustments based off of how your body's responding. Exactly. And there's also troubleshooting. It's like, oh, you're having this issue. I've seen this happen with a couple other people. This is how we fix it. And you just wouldn't know that if you haven't been dealing with your own body or other people's bodies for that long. Right. So it's there's the industry, like the coaching industry is fucked, generally speaking, but there are ways to do it ethically and, do right by your people. Right. But man, there's a lot of frauds out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
So on that note for coaching, let's kind of get you guys' takes on our second topic. We're going to talk some post-show rebound. So, Dennis, I'd love for you to start, man. We've talked about this previously for a little bit, but post-show, and you kind of touched on it on our previous episode, after the Olympia and things. And it obviously depends on if you have more shows coming up. But let's say typically, you get done with Olympia, like earlier in your career, you didn't have several shows right after that. What was typically would you like to, take advantage of the extra food, calories, try to really get some good gains in there after your long, contest diet? Or was it more, I need to take a break, my body needs to rest, I need to clean out, things like that, which is probably smart for everybody. But was there ever a time where you really felt like it was advantageous to kind of do that post-show push? Dennis, I'll let you start.
It's definitely not always the same, what you do after your last show. Using the rebound can give you a lot of I say it's simple, good things, right? So you can grow a lot of lean muscle through that, but also there are stages, right? So if you've done a lot of shows and you feel really kind of weak and ready to rest, you're still going to use the rebound a little bit, but not with support, with other things, with training, all of that. Of course, you have to refill everything, just until you feel okay, and then we'll probably do a good break for 6 to 8 weeks if I don't have a close show or close prep coming up, right? So, or I will. There are like many examples for that. I will push it so hard that I will probably gain in the next 3 weeks after my last show 20 to 25 pounds, but I would look really good. So I will still keep the condition, okay, a little bit smoother, but I will keep it. And sometimes you just need to go with the body, how the reaction is. So one time, my last Olympia 2015, I couldn't eat anything after that. So I felt only dehydrated. So I was eating probably for 3 days a lot of fruits and stuff, just to have that feeling. Just I'm getting enough minerals and all of that. So I will kind of replenish myself, with all the drinks and vitamins and minerals. We'll even do the how you call it?
IV.
Yeah, IVs, of course. Yeah. So it depends on how you feel and at what level you are. So I also had 1 year, like after I won the World Championships, I didn't train for 5 weeks, so I didn't do anything. And the good thing on that was I will just get bigger, gain weight, but the condition will stay. So, and I will
even without training.
Without training, that's
Wow.
the craziest thing I experienced. So, no training for 5 weeks, and I will look crazy, full, heavy, and
That's wild.
Just striated. Of course.
So I got going into that show. Yeah. Going into that show, were you like really beat up and tired and fatigued? And is that why you took that break afterwards? Yeah. Okay.
So, what I was speaking about? Shit.
Well, let me ask you something, Dennis. If you, let's say typically, and you guys can answer this, if you want to, but, going on a pre-show or a big show protocol, right, with everything that's involved in that, when you come off, right, I would assume most people are going to kind of come off of everything they're on. Do you feel like but obviously your calories are going to go up. And Stuart, maybe you can answer this. Is just the food and the surplus of food and rest, and maybe changing up your training, is that enough to make some good gains without all the super subs and things like that?
It can be, yeah. And I think to Dennis's point, where are you at? In the moment, and also broad scheme of your career, right? So if you're like a light heavyweight, you competed, you didn't look how you wanted, you need to be a heavyweight next year. You need to put on like 15, 20 pounds of tissue. Go get your blood work done, see how you're feeling physically and everything. Get your bloods done. And then, if you're very unhealthy, yeah, you need to like drop it and just, ride that wave up with food, ease your way back into training, be much more cautious. But, I mean, speaking for myself, at least, for the last couple of years, I've been in the position where I still need to put on significant amounts of tissue still. And I do really well during rebounds. So, I'll go get my blood work done. I'm young, so I'm pretty resilient to like the crap that I'm putting into myself. So I can string out like a 6-8 week rebound with some super stuff still in the mix, but like literally like a quarter of what I was doing.
Because you have all the food that it's going to make it work that much better, right?
Right. Yeah. So at this point, though, like look at where you're at, big picture and small picture. Do the healthy thing if you need to do the healthy thing. If you're in an okay state and you really need to push for that extra tissue, then that's a great time to do it. and then you got to get your shit checked again at the end of that rebound phase when you're off of everything, and like make sure you're good, right? Now looking at, I mean, you know, I bet Dennis didn't rebound like crazy once he got to a certain point in his career, because, like, you know, if you're competing at like what 260 or whatever it was,
the highest was 275, but it was just once.
Oh my God, that's insane. You know, like, you don't need 5-10 more pounds from there,
right?
That's crazy, right? So like, you're not gonna hit that. You're not gonna be pedal to the metal right after a huge show like the Olympia. Probably want to take a break, right? I might be in the same position next year. I need to put on a couple more pounds here and there, but I don't need like to just push for 6-8 weeks after a show with sup still in the mix and everything. And also, for my part, at least, like next year when I'm going to be competing, I want to qualify for the Olympia. I might be, that might take 3, 4, 5 shows. I don't know. And then if I do all those shows, an extended season, and then I have the Olympia later in the year, like I can hit a rebound there, but like I'm dropping everything out drug-wise.
Yeah.
Like, cause I need to like get myself back up, however much in weight, but, clean myself out so that I can be ready to go.
Yeah. So the receptors are, working again. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, receptors, whatever reason it is. Right?
Yeah. Anything.
It's like, you just can't be on that crap for so long and expect for it to still work. You're going to feel like crap if you try to do that. I'm sure some people do, maybe it works, but like, that ain't me. So, again, like look at your situation, short-term and long-term, and figure out where you need to be, for a show later in the year, for next year, and act accordingly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on that, Dennis?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's always depending on how you feel. Like Stuart said, if you do like 6 shows or whatever, 5, and then you still have to go for the big show, I mean, you can imagine how beat up you're gonna be, right? So like, you might not feel it maybe, but I doubt it. I felt even like when I was competing my last European show after Olympia, man, I was because I was getting better and better shape every show I did, right? So at the end of the season, I was so beat up. I was so every step was painful because there was no fat anymore, like not even on my feet. So all of that. So and also the recovery after that is probably, that was like, I would take like, at least 4 weeks just to refill everything and just have that feeling again. There's no pain anymore, walking or sitting, all that. I remember flying from, was like 2 days after Olympia, flying to Germany, and I was complaining about my seat, like, what the fuck? Why is it so uncomfortable, man? I will feel everything what was, in the seats, and they gave me a pillow and everything. I would still feel it. And then my wife's like, "Hey, you're so dry. You don't have any slice of fat on your butt. That's why it's so painful to sit." Even in a business, right? Business class, I felt like I was sitting on the nails, So, yeah, things like that. The harder you went in, the more recovery you need, and and also the higher or the later you are in your career, the more developed you are. So there's no more pushing in the rebound. So you just take off, just drop everything, you're clean your system out, and then just in time you start your prep for the next season. This is what I did to the end of my prep, my career, and also like Ronnie Coleman as an example. If you will see him coming to the FIBO, it was April, every year in April. He was 100% natural already. I mean, he didn't look like Ronnie Coleman. 6 months later, hey, he will win his Sendo, right? So, and this is
natural Ronnie Coleman's still pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, but you will see, there's no abs anymore, and all that. Yeah, you lost a little bit of weight. It's not that dense anymore. But this is like, if you're at that level already, there's no need to push the whole year. You just, most of the bodybuilders back then had that, break after the last show, and will start in time to get ready for the next season. Yes.
Yeah, I think part of the going hard part, like, when you say that, you're not just talking about like, oh, you're taking a ton of stuff going into your last show. It's like how lean were you, and how long were you that lean? Because you're talking about like going to in that long run of shows in Europe after the Olympia, 5-6 weeks of being that condition is like your body is not supposed to be there ever really, let alone for a month and a half. So yeah, just like totally not going to the gym for a week or two, maybe longer. No sauce, just like eat, relax. And I mean, I bet you slept a ton after that. Like you're just exhausted.
I mostly, I don't know why, but it happens to me many times in my career. After the last show, or when I knew this is like after Arnold, I won the Arnold 2014, right? So after I came home and I knew there's nothing to do, there's no expo right now or whatever, and I had a week time until we went to Cancun for vacation. And you know what? Me and my wife, we got sick. I think it came from the stress and everything, and then when the body just relaxed. So, and then I slept the whole week through, and I was back again. So, but yes, sleeping is the most important
vacation,
thing.
Did you?
No, I didn't sleep on a vacation.
Okay,
but the week before, yes. Yeah. No. But yes, sleep is very important, and whatever supplements you want to take, blah blah, it's not going to help you. Recovery is only possible with sleep, as lot as possible, as much as possible.
I actually got sick this year after my show in California. I don't know where I got sick at, but like I think it was just from being in good shape, and like it had been a while since I was sick, so it was about time, and I was depleted, and boom, I was down for like 2 weeks, and it kind of screwed up my rebound, unfortunately. Because
that's what it does. Yeah, the rebound sucks. Then the week you've been sick, it's very important. You can't eat. You just kind of sleep and don't eat enough. You probably eat less than in the prep.
Yeah, it's better than getting sick right before the show, I guess. But like, I don't know, pick your poison.
Yeah, but I think if the body kind of shuts down, you can do nothing anymore. And the good thing is, if it happens after than before,
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Stuart, want to hit you up with your coaching, man. You want to give us our people your contact information if they want to reach out and get you for coaching?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at beef_stew_97. And if you're interested in working with me, go ahead and shoot me an email. My email's in my bio if you'd like. DMs are hard to sort through sometimes. There's a whole crap load of them.
Right.
What Dennis is looking
like. Hey, I was surprised you answered mine, man. I appreciate that.
And of course, digging.
And of course, Dennis, you can, he's taking clients as well. You can reach him at denniswolfcamp@gmail.com. And on that note, we're gonna wrap up this episode. I did want to mention one more time the Big Bad Wolf t-shirt exclusively through Gasp. Go on there to get your shirt. Save 15% off with Big Bad Bodybuilding. We are going to give away another free shirt from this episode. We need you to email the same email, denniswolfcamp@gmail.com. This time I want you guys to email in who you would like to see on the podcast. And when I ask you that, we want to get another legend on here with Dennis to talk about some of their competition days, battles backstage, on stage. So we're talking about between 2006, 2018, which spans over Dennis's career. Dennis is going to look those over, and whoever Dennis picks to be on the show, first person who suggests that person will win the free t-shirt. So we're going to leave that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, there you go. Sure, absolutely.
Can you get Evan Centopani on?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Evan.
Did you compete against Evan?
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
He beat my ass. He beat me once. He beat me once.
All right. Well, we'll get him on and ask him about that. But All right. Well, hey, if Dennis picks him, I think it won't be an issue getting your shirt, seeing that you're in that gas.
I don't want the shirt. I
thought that's the only reason you suggested it. But
shirt for Stuart.
All right.
Now.
All right. We'll see
Stuart,
if they got their size.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was amazing. I think you're a great person, and I wish you all the best in your career. And I would love to see you in New York because one of my guys is competing there as well. And I wish you all the best, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you'll be at the Arnold too, right?
Yes.
I'm going to be there this year. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you before then.
Awesome, man. Cool.
All right, Stuart. Good luck to you, man. Good luck with competitions next year, and hopefully we have you on again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys. All
right, fans. That'll be episode 3 is a wrap. That's Big Bad Bodybuilding. Check us out on Instagram, and you guys email Dennis your questions. We'll see you next time.